Well, hello. Happy Labor Day to everybody here on this Monday, September 3rd. um, we are going to go through a lot of things here today. Not too much. I don't want to be here too long, but we're going to talk about certain things. Now, I do want to parlay some news to you from me before anything else happens. Um, First things first. Um, Excel 91 will have to. I mean, sorry, yeah, Impulse 95. Will have to be pushed back for tomorrow. That's why I'm doing this newscast tonight to kind of make up for it, and also I'll have a webisode ready for all of you guys to watch tonight as well. So I'm gonna have to push back Impulse for tomorrow, but you know, shit happens. But I have content like tonight to make up for it. So there's that. I just wanted to let that be known before anyone, um, starts to ask about certain things. You guys can hear me, right? You guys, just making sure you guys can hear me through my microphone pretty clear. I'll give you guys a couple of moments to respond before I get into it. Cool. Okay. All right. Looks like you guys can hear me. What else did I want to talk about too? I'll also reveal the match card for Impulse tomorrow as well. Today I'll reveal it after this newscast, so you guys will know what is going to go down. As a matter of fact, I can actually make this announcement for a match that's going to happen on Impulse tomorrow. And I kind of wanted to post it, but since I'm doing the newscast, I might as well announce it to you all. And it'll be posted anyways after the newscast, but it's official. The main event for Impulse 95 tomorrow. It'll be a rematch from No Boundaries. It'll be Monkey D. Luffy versus King JJ. They will have their rematch at Impulse 95 tomorrow. And that's also going to main event the show. So, for those that wanted to see what transpired between those two from No Boundaries, you're pretty much going to get your answer tomorrow. So, Luffy versus JJ tomorrow will close the show at Impulse 95. Let me see if there's anything else I need to cover before I get into this topic. Um, we'll try to have more ACW Rewind episodes out too these upcoming weeks. So I recorded some new ones, so that'll be done. I think that's about it. But okay, let's stop stalling here. Let's get into why this newscast is happening today and this early. By the way, this is really weird to do a newscast this early, but it had to be done. Now, this is what's gonna happen. First of all, this is what I'm gonna do first. Okay. Okay. Now, I know you see the picture. I know you see him right now. Um, Here's the thing. I know that I had implemented a pretty much gag order for this particular individual these past couple of weeks. But in order to effectively talk about this, I have to reference him by name. So, for this newscast, I'm going to mention him by name. And for you all in the chat, you for this one time can reference his name. Can say his name. Do not say that name outside of this newscast in the chat room, but I am given permission for you to say his name in the chat room, because it's only fair if I'm going to say his name on this newscast. Okay? So, Edward Elric. There you go. I haven't said that name in a while. But Edward Elric, as everyone knows, left Anime Championship Wrestling a couple of weeks ago at Ground Zero. And he main evented Ground Zero against Haru Glory for the XL Championship. He won the title. And, the day after, he no longer became signed or affiliated or employed with ACW. And, however, he did not give the physical title back. And lately, he's been going around different promotions and leagues wearing the title and defending it even. I've been keeping tabs about this Elric situation for weeks now, okay? Now, Edward Elric likes to be a straight shooter, if you will. So, it's only fair if I respond in kind. Okay? Here's some things that Edward Elric... Before I even get to that, I just want to say that I stand by what I've said up to this point. I feel like Edward Elric is somebody that isn't doing this for CAW. He's doing this for himself. Edward Elric says that the quote-unquote business and politics behind it is what's hindering CAW to grow even further, and yet here he is doing that exact same thing. I find that funny from the so-called best in the world, right? He's even had enough of you gullible people, some of you that are even in this chat right now, to actually believe every word that he's saying. I'm not going to call you idiotic, but I am going to call you gullible to think that somebody that you don't even know more than me, first of all, is making you believe every word behind his statements as if it's an unrefutable fact. I can't help but laugh because Edward Elric has done a great job manipulating the whole point of this situation between ACW and Edward Elric. He's definitely done a great job fooling each and every single one of you to think that he's in the right. The funny thing is, I was the early advocate for Edward Elric. I was the guy. I was the one that vouched for Edward Elric. Let's peel the curtain a little bit back here. Okay? It was I that brought Edward Elric here to ACW. Okay? I did. This is one time that I'll attack the general managers here. Neither Vegeta or Goku wanted to bring in Edward Elric. They didn't see any value in him. But I did. I advocated for Vegeta or Goku, one of them, to bring to ACW. Goku, being the more cordial of the two, did so. But I advocated for him. I was the one that advocated for him to be a part of the first ever Road to Destiny match at Animania 1. That was me too. I did that. And what did you know? Edward Elric was the one that won it, didn't he? Animania 3. There were rumblings even back that Edward Elric wasn't particularly happy with his spot. So guess what I did as a compromise? I told him, hey, you want to face Mugen for the television title? And let that be the match that goes before Goku and Vegeta as the main event? Then you get that. You do that. Because talent is very exceptional. You go ahead and defend that title against Mugen. And you guys wrestle for Goku and Vegeta at Animania, or however many matches were before Goku and Vegeta. You guys get to showcase your skills. I did that. Animania 4. Although I respect Haru and him ultimately winning the briefcase, I also supported Edward Elric because Miami at Animania 4 in that XL Road Destiny match were behind Edward Elric. It was very clear to me and everybody else that were in Miami that year that Haru Glory was going to come in as an enemy, and that Edward Elric was going to be the one that controls the narrative of Miami for Animania 4. I supported that. I didn't agree with that. I didn't agree that Haru necessarily got the flack for it, but I agreed that Elric got his shine. That was me. I did that. And yet it feels like Edward Elric has forgotten who supported him this whole time. It feels like Edward Elric feels like, you know, he forgot the ones that supported him from day one. I guess my microphone is acting a little bit weird. Hold on, let me fix this real quick. Hold on, let me fix my mic. Alright, I think that should be fine. Unless I'm tripping. Can you guys let me just do a test again. Can you guys hear me? see. Yes. Yes. All right. Cool. All right. So they get fixed. All right. So, um, back to what I'm saying. Back to what I was saying. But yeah, I was Edward Elric's earliest supporter from day one. You know, if you recall, we started in 2006, right? We started in 2006. Well, if I recall, and my memory might be fuzzy, and now that we don't have the footage for it, I can't really prove it to a lot of you people. But the first match of Impulse was Edward Elric versus Gohan. That was the first match that was ever done in Impulse back in '06. And you look at those two now, being some of the highly regarded CAWs of all time. And it's just funny to me that Edward Elric, you know, he has his issue with ACW to this point, and now he feels the need to come after me. Now listen, I want myself to be very, very clear here, okay? I understand the issues and problems that he may have with management and certain individuals within management. I get that, okay? All of us somehow, some way, we work and we have issues with our boss, with our management as well, because of things that may or may not be going so well. I get that notion. I get that feeling. But for a guy that says that he wants to handle business the right way, for a guy that says he wants to be able to maintain business for a very legitimate way, and then to go out here and do what he's doing, makes me sick. And it makes me feel like Edward Elric is a hypocrite. Because let's be honest, and let's call it what it is, alright? I've kind of been cool about it this far, but let's be honest. Edward Elric is a full metal hypocrite. Edward Elric, for weeks here on Excel, said that he wants to be the one that cleanses everything about CAW, every bad thing, everything that makes CAW such a hindrance rather than a success. That was Edward Elric. That was somebody he wanted to say. That was somebody that wanted to become the new face, the new age of CAW. And here he is, walking around with a XL championship that isn't his, that isn't recognized by ACW. Wants to go around various leagues and try to claim something that he isn't anymore. Because let's be honest here, Edward Elric wants to come out and say he's the real XL champion. He's the true XL champion. The fact of the matter is that Edward Elric isn't going to tell you it, but I damn sure will. Edward Elric paid a hefty deposit to keep the physical form of the XL championship. That XL title as it stands means nothing. The XL championship that is recognized within ACW standards and regulations will be decided at the Royal Rumble at September 21st in the first ever historic 30-man XL Rumble match. That's the XL championship that is recognized, not the one that Edward Elric wants to parade around as something that is active. He's the one that paid the deposit, a hefty one at that, to even keep that title. Otherwise, he'd be sued. We'd send him to court to get back our property. So Edward Elric had to pay out of his own pocket to keep the physical form of that title. He won't tell you that. But if Edward Elric wants to shoot, then I got ammo too. Because quite frankly, this XL Rumble match that's going to happen is a 30-man match. It's historic and should be getting all the attention it deserves. A lot of people that are coming in to be a part of this match. You know, Captain Falcon 2 days ago declared for the XL Rumble match. He's going to be a part of it. We've got 3 representatives from our partnership at Global Wrestling Monopoly. There's going to be a lot of our top XL talent that are going to be a part of this. Haru Glory, Aang Akuma's returning, Sagat the TV champion, Joe Agashi, Night Ray. They're all going to be a part of this. And it just feels like it's being overshadowed because one person just can't let go because one person simply doesn't want to embrace the fact that he's not the guy he thinks he is. You know, you call yourself the best, Edward Elric. Were you the best? Because I sat there in Miami at the Big 100 for CCL. They're strictly for CCL business. And here you are coming out of nowhere. Why? You knew I'd be there. You knew I'd be there. You had no reason to come over here. You had no reason to show yourself at CCL, be it your first appearance. You didn't go there because of the Big 100. You went there because to feed your own ego, because you knew it would get under my skin, and it did. It did. But it was the service to Eddie Mack and the rest of the crew at CCL for where they're trying to put on one of their best shows in history with the Big 100. Here you are trying to make it about yourself rather than it about being the weekend that was CAW. Oh, but this is the best part. This is the best part, right? So I'm watching the new episode of, Superstar Clash from SCAW. I'm watching that new episode, thinking, oh, wow, the new era of the 2K18 era. There's going to be a lot of big things happening leading up to Ascendance with the tournament and Blood, Sweat, and Tears coming up soon. Cool. I am fully engaged into it. I know Lone Star is going to do his best to keep that intact. And then here comes Edward Elric. Now, it's not a secret that Edward Elric, when he was with ACW, it's not a secret that Edward Elric was a part or signed with ACW and then SCAW. It's been one of those talking points for years amongst CAW fans. And then as I hear Edward Elric's music from SCAW, here he comes with the Excel Championship on SCAW programming. Now, I want to state for the record, and I want to be very clear here, very, very clear here. I am not in no way, shape, or form mad, hateful, or spiteful with Lone Star or SCAW. Because Lone Star even disagreed with the way Edward Elric did that. And I will give Lone Star, as I usually do, all the respect in the world for saying it like it is. Because he's right. That's not how you handle business. That's how you never handle business with that kind of situation. So Lone Star was right. SCAW probably wasn't aware that Edward Elric was going to pull that stunt. I don't think Lone Star was aware that Edward Elric was going to do that. I have to give Lone Star and SCAW the benefit of the doubt. They've never done me wrong like that, and I've never done them wrong like that. So this is all on Edward Elric. It's funny to me. Edward Elric was a Road to Destiny briefcase holder, 2-time television champion, the recent King of Elite. He never talked about those accolades. He never showed off those accolades while still being an SCAW. But now that he's a supposed XL champion, he wants to bring that title to SCAW programming and show it off. And for what? For why? Because he has to. Here's the reason why. I'll tell you why. And I know there's a lot of ass kissers on the chat that are trying to excuse this. But get off your dick for a second and listen to this, right? Why would Edward Elric need to go around every league out there, whether it's existing or uprising? Why do they need to go to every league just to make sure he gets his name out there? And the reason why is because if Edward Elric had simply left ACW with the title and didn't do this whole Best in the World tour, no one would give a shit. You want to shoot there, Short Fry? Let's shoot for a second. If you didn't go around to every single league and beg for yourself to be a part of certain leagues and to be defending your XL Championship, no one would give a shit about you, Edward Elric. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. You're not special. You're not unique in what you're doing. You had to pay for your deposit to keep the XL Championship. Ric Flair did that 2 decades ago. And at least Flair apologized to the organization when he came back. What? You talking behind the fourth wall and the curtain? CM Punk did that years ago. And here's the thing with that. Here's the thing with that. At least CM Punk's a draw. You ain't been shit since 2010. Buddy. You know, the fact of the matter is this. Edward Elric has a lack of self-esteem. Edward Elric could have came to me. Maybe not to Mr. Smith, fine. Maybe not to General Esdeath, fine. Maybe not to those guys. Those type of, not to the board of directors, whoever, fine. He could have came to me to try to smooth things over. You know, he could have went to me and talked to me if he needed to. But instead, Edward Elric betrayed my trust, betrayed our relationship, and betrayed our friendship. And he turned it into a weapon that is going to backfire on him. Edward Elric is a mark. You have to be a mark in order to do shit like this. And I hate using that terminology because a lot of wrestling fans use it the wrong way. But Edward Elric, you going around here talking about how, you know, you're this and you're that and you're this and that. People that are that wouldn't have to say it. The fact that you have to continue to tell yourself you're the best in the world tells me that maybe you're not the best as you think you are. You know, I see a lot of idiots in the chat saying that Hakeem's turned heel. I haven't turned heel. No, Hakeem's just turned real. Because I am sick and tired that I have to be cordial and nice when I really don't have to be at this point. I'm not going to be anymore. I'm sick and tired of being nice and cordial about the situation. I have tried to ignore this situation and ignore him. I've tried to remove myself away from it. I've tried to not answer any questions about it. I just wanted to move on, get to the Royal Rumble to solve this XL Championship situation. Then we can go to Animania 5 in December in Los Angeles and celebrate 10 years of ACW. I just want to go to the end of the season and be that as it is. If Edward Elric wants to do all that BS, he wants to do all that punk shit, fine. Let him do that. He can do what he wants. We'll do what we have to do. But the constant prodding, you know, the constant poking, you know, the constant taunting and calling out, it takes a toll on you. It does. I'm sick of it because I didn't do anything wrong. People that are going to be against me for what I'm saying can't ever show or prove to me what I've done wrong. Go ahead. Attempt to pretend like you knew that I did something wrong. I didn't. Hell, if you want to be honest, Mr. Smith, I'll tell you this too. I'll break a little kayfabe here too. Mr. Smith originally didn't want Edward Elric to have any music coming out at Ground Zero. Edward Elric was going to walk out in silence. But I convinced Mr. Smith, if Edward Elric had to pay money for it, I convinced Mr. Smith, no, let Edward Elric come out to music and let it be music of his own choice. Now, granted, he'll have to pay for that. You don't have to pay for it. But let him come out to the music he wants to come out to for his final match in ACW. We got to owe him that much for what he's done to ACW. I coerced that. I compromised that. Okay? Mr. Smith, and rightfully so if you want to be clear about it, was going to make Edward Elric not come out to music. I told him not to. Let him come out to whatever music he wants to come out to. And he did. And you all popped and you all marked for it. So for those that did that, you're welcome. You're welcome. You can thank me while you're insulting me. You can thank me, by the way. So he wants to go around defending the Excel Championship that isn't his. You know, I know Ichigo, a guy that is a part of ACW and also SAW. He's the SAW Legends Champion over there, which is all the more great. And apparently he's going to face Edward Elric there at SAW Ascendance. I will be sure to ask Ichigo about all that coming up on the recent Excel episode. But that's happening. You know, it's champion versus champion. No, it's for the SCAW Legends Championship. I mean, I have no problem with Lone Star using it as a marketing tool for what it is. But Edward Elric is not the real Excel champion. He's just not. Whoever wins the Excel Rumble at the Royale Rumble is the real Excel champion. Period. You know, he can go around, he can go to CCL Adrenaline and try to sign his contract to CCL on top of the Excel Championship like that means a damn thing. Just remember that the title that you're going to sign that contract over is the title that you had to pay out of your own pocket. So you're not the boss like you think you are. You're not this sort of MVP you keep saying that you are. You can go around wrestling in various organizations and various leagues here and there. But you just understand the fact that you don't have me in ACW to bail you out, Elric. Okay? You almost got fired once. And that's a story that I could tell here on the newscast because you know it's going to be a negative light onto you. I could tell that story about how you almost got fired the first time here and that I ultimately saved your ass there. But I'm not going to do that because that gets into the family aspect of things, right? So I won't do it. But the fact of the matter is that you don't have me or ACW to bail you out this time. You don't have that anymore. Now you got to do this on your own. And when you do this on your own, don't come crawling back to me. And don't come crawling back to ACW when you fail. See, and I've heard Edward Elric, he's talking about how, you know, well, would I go back to ACW? Well, only if the money is right and I'm treated with respect, because that's what this all has been about. Well, way to shift the goalpost, Edward. Because you realize, here's the real truth, you realize that ACW is picking up momentum. And you would have thought that would have been impossible from last season and that whole thing. But ACW, especially social media, has been picking up momentum. It's growing by the minute. You see that ACW, even with you gone, hasn't slowed down a bit. It hasn't. Okay? We got to 1,100 subscribers here on YouTube without you. So you see that, and now you're starting to question yourself, oh man, maybe I bet the wrong horse here. We all know what your story is here. Hell, look at No Boundaries. No Boundaries, that was streamed late night on a Friday. Still pulling 70 viewers, which surprised the hell out of me, and thank you very much, by the way, for doing that. I appreciate all the fans that did watch No Boundaries live that night, and for those that just support the product in general. But let's keep it honest here. You being gone does not affect how we do business. Just because you left doesn't mean we're going to stop Animania 5, let alone the Royal Rumble. Are you kidding me? Get bent. If you don't want to be a part of this league anymore, that's fine. Okay? Nightwing didn't want to be a part of this league anymore. We moved on. Beast Boy didn't want to be a part of this league anymore. We moved on. Okay? There was an entire faction that were looking to destroy us last season. And we beat them and moved on. WWE and Toei Animation shut down our first channel. Tried to get us completely out of YouTube. We moved on and we've grown bigger since. We've been in our wars before. There have been various leagues when ACW started in the first or second year of this whole thing that tried to deliberately take us down. That deliberately tried to stop us. And we existed and we outlasted them. Alright, we've been in wars within CAW and outside CAW. Many times that could have taken us out for the long run. And we've beaten each and every single one of them. And you are no exception, nor are you the difference maker in that. Okay? Toei Animation, WWE, various leagues at the start of our league back in 06 and 07. X-Play and the anti-anime movement during that era. The JSA, they all tried to stop us. And we beat them and we outlasted them. So, when I see someone like Edward Elric coming out here saying that ACW won't survive without him, I laugh. I laugh. Because I've heard that before. I've heard people like you say that before. Hell, you were fighting for ACW when those people said that before. But now that the shoe has changed, now that you are on the other side because you didn't get your way, now it ain't shit now, huh? That's funny. But you know what? That's fine. If someday, because you can never say never in wrestling, let alone CAW, right? If someday Edward Elric decides to come back, maybe that'll be fine. You know? Maybe if somehow Elric and ACW finally amend fences and all that, maybe. But Edward Elric, you know, Edward Elric, you got to talk to me personally. The business side of things will be the business side of things. But you and me, we had a personal connection. We've gone through a lot of things. You have to apologize to me. And we got to talk about this personally to where it is going to get intense, because only you and I know that. Only you and I would know about certain things that a lot of these people in chat and that have watched ACW simply just won't know. You've got to be able to talk to me. Don't go on your Facebook page. Don't go on your Facebook page and try to talk shit to me. You talk to me like a man. Because you used to know how to do that. And now all of a sudden you simply just don't know. I see someone in the chat saying Edward Elric walking out, Paradigm Inc. establishing their own regime, ACW is the hotbed of virtual wrestling world today. I mean, you know, ACW has creating a lot of, you know, hot streaks as of late. ACW is on the rise. It's done a lot of great things this season. You know, we're getting ready for the Element tournament coming up. You know, we've got a lot of specials in the near future. You know, a lot of matches that have really blown people out of their minds. A lot of mega events and all that stuff. You know, it's a blessing, man. And it just sucks that someone like Edward Elric is trying to overshadow that success, because I said it at the start of the season, or even before the start of the season, if you recall, that my goal was to really try to integrate social media and try to make that a big presence this season with ACW. And I think I can say that I've done that. Um, we put out like on a consistent basis if we have to do so. We put out 3 to 4 types of content out every week, and not a lot of leagues can say that. So I'm just trying to do what's best for the fans. There are things that you may agree with me on. There's things you may disagree with me on. But at the end of the day, I'm always there for the fans because I always give you guys the credit you deserve. Because without you guys, ACW just wouldn't be where it is today, and it wouldn't exist, period. If I didn't have fans like you guys, honestly, I wouldn't be doing ACW at this point in my life or career. So, thank you to everybody. But Edward Elric, I think, the funny thing about all this at the end of the day with Edward Elric, I think Elric knows that what I'm saying has some sort of truth to it. I think Edward Elric knows that what I'm saying may not be the best way to say it, but there are some underlying truth to it. I think Edward Elric is somebody that is a great talent, but ultimately becomes his own worst enemy. That he does things that will eventually put him in a situation that he doesn't need to be put in. Edward Elric, despite all of this, Edward Elric, I still do wish him the best of luck. I still do wish him the best in whatever he does. But this is pathetic now. Look at all the stuff that he's done. Look at all he's gone through, the likes of, SCAW, even though he's already been there, but SCAW and CCL and DCA, ACL, OCBF, UWL, and there are other leagues that I'm hearing rumors that he might be involved with still. That's good for his own image. That's good for his own stock. But I'm proud of what we're doing right now. ACW is doing good things right now, and I don't want someone like him to overshadow that. If he's happy with what he wants to do, then fine. I wish him all the best in his future endeavors. But I and ACW just want to move on. And if he wants to move on, he can move on too. So that's that. I just wanted to finally come out and mention that and say what I wanted to say because I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of Edward Elric coming out here and trying to, insult and intimidate us when Ground Zero has been weeks ago now. And, again, Edward Elric, you have my phone number. You have my personal contacts within certain places. You definitely know how to reach me. The lines are always open. Despite what I've said here tonight, despite what you have said in the past, my lines are always open for you to talk. And if you want to talk, then we can talk. Okay? It's not like it wasn't a couple of months ago that, I was able to talk to you while you were on the phone and Winry was with your children. It wasn't that long ago. Now, if anything, I really feel a little bit sorry for your children and your wife right now because you're putting them in a situation that they don't need to be put in. But again, my lines are always open. If you want to talk, we can talk. But stop. Stop. Stop trying to keep prodding this issue. The situation's done. It's over. Move on. We have. Now you need to move on. I know that you'll always have your fans, and they'll always have something against me or Mr. Smith or ACW in regards to you. I don't get it, and I feel like some of them are just riding the wave, just to ride the wave. They don't really have a argument, let alone a reason to do what they're doing. But you have your fans, and I'm not going to be mad at that. But we have our fans too, and our fans still enjoy ACW, and our fans still watch ACW and support it. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, that's all I had for that. I could have said more. You know, I could have really exposed certain things that could have made Elric look bad, to where even his supporters would have to say what the hell. But I didn't do that because I'm not that kind of guy unless I'm being provoked. But I'm telling you right now, Elric, enough. Stop. Alright, I had to really take a deep breath because that was something that was building up for a couple of weeks, but I think I'm feeling a little bit better for it. I think I'm feeling a little bit good. So, with that said, I'm just gonna open up the Q&A portion of things. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to post on the chat, you can go ahead and do so right now, and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. And while I wait, I'm gonna take a big drink of water because that was a long diatribe to get down to. Edward Elric. Sorry, why did I say Edward Elric? Water is the greatest drink in the world, honestly. Don't let anyone tell you different. Water is the best. Okay, let's get down to it. And by the way, if I don't answer your questions, if I don't get to your questions, just keep reposting until I eventually read them. So, but in any other events, bigger crime, Braun heel turn or Becky heel turn? I'm gonna say Becky, but only because I don't think Braun really turned heel yet. I think it's more so just getting back up. If they do turn Braun fully heel by Hell in a Cell, then yeah, that's the big crime. Because you built Braun so much to be this top face, this top monster that's a babyface, and he's getting these babyface reactions. Only for him to turn heel because you want to feed him to Roman Reigns for this Universal title run. I'm sorry, that's stupid. I don't have a problem with Roman Reigns winning over Braun, but you don't have to turn him heel to do that. Green tea is a close second. Hey, I love green tea. Green tea puts me at ease. I love it a lot. Have you ever... Question, have you... Oh, man, I missed it. Just... Alright, keep reposting that. I just missed it. On the Excel side, how will the Excel roster try to counter Paradigm Inc.? I don't know why I keep saying that name. That's not like an official stable name or something like that. But anyways, on the Impulse side, with Kankuro screwing Zuko out of the title shot, how will Zuko make the Puppet Master pay? Well, for the first question, look, Mr. Smith has pretty much made General Esdeath his new assistant, so a lot of things will be established as law. So unless you're a part of the XL roster, you kind of have to deal with it. I mean, now granted, I don't like the way Aang has come out here lately and just started doing certain things that are uncharacteristic of the Avatar. I don't like that. That needs to be addressed. But the rules are the rules, and I mean, Mr. Smith has done a lot of questionable things since Ground Zero. I agree with that, but he's ultimately the general manager, and he has reasons to be. Becky, if they can do her right, can be the female Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's calm down there. Let's calm down there. I don't maybe a female Daniel Bryan, sure, but female Austin, let's pump the brakes. Thoughts on Adam Pacman Jones signing with the Broncos? Thankfully they signed him for 1 year, but other than that, just what a wasted investment. I don't know what the hell Elway's doing right now. So can I ask why Lelouch, that psycho, was chosen as Goku's assistant? I think Goku's reasoning for that, as he stated before he revealed it, was because he needs to find a balance. Someone that can check him when he needs to be checked. And Lelouch is someone that can do that. So I think that's a pretty good reason. Who do you think Lelouch brought to Impulse? I have no idea. I have no information about that. Although I've heard rumblings, and the rumblings that I've heard, you guys are off base. I'll say that now. Kind of think a little outside the box is what I'll say. Did you watch All In? If so, what are your thoughts? I didn't watch the full All In event, but I did watch the important parts. Cody winning the NWA title was a great moment. It wasn't about the match quality. It was about the moment. Everybody knew that Cody was going to win that title, but who cares? He won it. It was a great moment. The Rhodes legacy and name is synonymous with the NWA brand and championship. So for Cody to win it was a very exhilarating moment for him and fans. Jericho returning to get after Kenny Omega was cool. Although, I know a lot of people were expecting CM Punk or even Neville to show up. It is what it is with that. I don't know if I'm for Jericho Omega 2 at this point, but, I mean, it was a good way to surprise a lot of fans, I guess. And kudos to Jericho for coming in for All In and then flying straight to his Fozzy concert in Pentagon paint. So, speaking of which, that Lucha 6-man was pretty cool as well for what it was, with the Ibushi and the Bucks against, I think it was Pentagon, Phoenix. Sorry, no, not Pentagon, but Mysterio, Phoenix, and Bandito. That was cool. But overall, it was a good event. I thought it was a good event. It just proves, and I tweeted it too that day, that it just proves that you don't need to be with the WWE to make a legacy and to make money. You can do so without their help. And it's pronounced as Paradigm. Well, it doesn't matter. It's not like it's the official name, so it doesn't really matter. Have you been watching anime recently? I have been watching anime recently. I've watched, let's see, Golden Kamuy. I've caught up on Food Wars. I'm watching Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia. I'm rewatching Monster. Following One Piece and Boruto, but not so much as I could. I'm in terms of One Piece, I'm so ready for the Big Mom arc to be over. I'm so done with that arc, and the new episode that came out was so bullshit. They tease us into the whole Katagure Luffy fight, but yet a lot of that went to the whole bullshit with Pudding and Sanji. I'm fucking done with that arc, and I can't wait for it to be over. Did you see Christopher Daniels and Stephen Amell? Sorry, no, I didn't get to see it, but I heard it was. I heard that Stephen Amell is trying to transition into pro wrestling after his acting career is done with the Arrow. Is that what I heard? Like he's trying to transition from acting to wrestling. That's what I've heard, which I would think would be cool. And Christopher Daniels, even at his age over 50, he's still great at what he does. So. Let's see. For Akeem, have you ever played or heard of the Serious Sam series? No, I haven't. You're gonna have to clue me in on that. Let's see. Speaking of Fozzy, what's your favorite song from the minus days of the week? I'm kind of an old guy to still like some of Enemy though. I mean that was I think I used that theme song for what was it, High Voltage '07? I think I did. I think I did. I'm think I did. But yeah, I like that song. Judas is not bad though. Let's see, which WWE heel should take the WWE title from Styles, Samoa Joe or The Miz? I would want to say Miz, but you might have to go with Joe at this point because you can't have him lose to Styles twice, right? Like Joe has to win the title for the storyline to pay off, right? I don't know. After what happened at No Boundaries, how did you feel about it? I felt a sense of relief. Like one day I'm just gonna shoot the shit about a lot of ACW behind the scenes stuff, but people do not know or understand the effort that I had to put into No Boundaries. No Boundaries was easily the most excruciating mega event that I had to go through this season. It was just me being sick, scheduling outside of ACW, rendering issues, all that mixed in together. Just really made it difficult for No Boundaries to be put together the way it was. I mean, if you'll notice, I didn't have any video packages for any of the matches at No Boundaries, and I wish I could have. I really did, but I just didn't have the time or window of opportunity to do so this time around. So shit happens, but yeah. All In up there for a pay-per-view of the year. If you think All In is pay-per-view of the year, I won't argue with you. I will say that I think Takeover New Orleans and Slammiversary, for me, were either one of those two are my pay-per-view of the year so far. Just my opinion, but I won't argue with you if you say All In though. Let's see. Are you a Kingdom Hearts fan? I enjoyed Kingdom Hearts to an extent. I wasn't like a uber super fan like a lot of people were, but I enjoyed it for what it was. Do I watch Game Grumps? No, I don't. I really don't watch Game Grumps. I was more of an angry video game nerd slash JonTron kind of guy, but the video game channels that I watch now, I think, what are they? I still keep tabs on Angry Video Game Nerd. I mean, obviously it isn't the same anymore as it used to be, but I still keep tabs. I also watch Wrestling with Gaming. I don't know if you guys are aware of that channel, but I do watch Wrestling with Gaming. It's a channel where there's this long-haired buff dude who used to be a wrestler and loves wrestling. He talks about gaming to a very deep perspective. I watched his series about the Power Glove from Nintendo, the CDI video game console that failed, the Sega documentaries he's done. Go check it out. It's a great channel. If this is a channel that I would recommend outside of CAW. But yeah, that's one get to check out. Up, up, down, down. Obviously, I don't watch every video, but I'm very aware of it. I'm subscribed to them, so Uh, are you releasing Animania 2 or 1 anytime soon? Animania 2, I have in full. I just have to edit it to avoid copyright and all that stuff. But eventually I'm going to upload that. It'll be on the Megavich channel, but I will upload it. Animania 1, I don't have the full Animania 1 event. It's gone. Like, when all my channels got taken down during that time, they were gone. So I don't have that. All I have are specific matches from that event. So, unfortunately, that's the way it is. Would there be some way to try to revive your African 15 channel? No. I'm sorry. Like, if there was a way, I would have done it by now. And trust me, I've tried every single way to find a way to get some sort of closure to that, but it's gone. Unfortunately, it sucked. If there's one thing that bothers me about ACW, it's the fact that I can never collect all my old footages or even watch it, because I would love for you guys to see. I would love for you guys to see how bad ACW was those first 2 years. I wanted to let you guys know how much, for those that are upstarting with their own call leagues, that are doing their own thing with their own CAW leagues that are just a year or two in, to look at my old videos and see that I wasn't any different from you guys. So, but unfortunately, I just can't do that. What is the Element Tournament bracket? The bracketology special will be in 2 weeks. I'm getting that all put together as we speak. So, and it's gonna be cool too. This bracketology special is gonna be cool. The likes you have never seen it done before. It's gonna be really cool. Let's see. Thoughts on the upcoming NFL season? It is what it is. Which fighter are you secretly wanting to win for Royal Rumble? I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. Are you going to make an ACW Evolution video? I don't know what you mean by that, but I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, well, clarify what you meant by that. I think I have caught up to the chat with questions, unless there's any more that you guys have here. Any new CAW leagues you have checked out? I think I've said this already, like, UCWL, ACL, UWL, what else? Yeah, like those leagues. Like the history of it. Oh yeah, well. Oh yeah, like, if you mean like, okay, you could have said like ACW Desire, I would have gotten that, but I guess it would be appropriate for me to do it this season, right? With the 10 years and all that. Yeah. Yeah, I probably could. Maybe do a little something for Animania 5 or whatever. Yeah, I might. I can't promise it, but I may very well do so. What is your opinion on the Braun heel turn that happened last week? Um, like I said, I don't really consider it a heel turn. I don't think. I mean, I think it's more so that Braun needed equal standing with the Shield. And it's stupid since if you're going to try to turn anyone heel, it should be Roman Reigns with the Shield to prevent Braun Strowman from winning the title. I mean, that's what I would think. And by the way, I have to address this too because I saw this on my feed this week. But the Shield is the #1 faction of all time as voted on by fans on WWE Network for the greatest factions of all time. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you shitting me? Now I get it, there's a lot of viewers and fans that were not around during the 90s and before back to really appreciate those factions. But you can't even objectively tell me that the Shield is #1 over the NWO or DX or the Four Horsemen or the Von Erichs or the Freebirds. Are you kidding me? If you want to be honest about the Shield at its height was during a period in wrestling and in WWE especially where it was shit quality wise and business wise. Yeah, they were making their record revenue, like a lot of you guys like to say, but their profit wasn't anything special. You know, I think the Shield get a lot of overrated takes about their position within WWE history. The Shield were a cool faction for what it was at the time, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking. It wasn't anything that would make you call it the greatest faction of all time. It just wasn't. The Four Horsemen established the blueprint of what a faction should be, to where every faction to this day still takes the Horseman blueprint. The NWO changed the entire culture of the business. How is the Shield beating those two alone? They're not. That's why when the Shield reunited a couple weeks ago, I was like, so? Because they've already done the Shield reunion so many times that this one didn't mean as much. And two, the Shield were all that good to begin with. I mean, their matches were great, don't get me wrong. Their matches were superb when the Shield were facing, like, Team Hell No and all the likes of Ryback and all those guys back then. They were great at that. But other than that, what were the Shield? What were the Shield? Honestly, each member of the Shield, when they were world champion, had a title reign that sucked. Dean Ambrose's world title reign was forgettable. Seth Rollins' world title reign made me stop following WWE regularly, to where I still don't follow them regularly to this day. And Roman Reigns was bad. So, for you to say they're #1 because they just reunited a couple of weeks ago comes off as a bit reaching to me. Sorry. Comes off as a bit reaching. And no, it's not because I'm an old school wrestling fan or whatever, you know, excuse that a lot of you new age hipster fans like to come up with to try to excuse the past of wrestling. It's just an objective fact. The Shield just aren't better than the Shield just aren't better than a lot of those factions. I'm sorry. Let's see. The fact that those three guys can't move on from the Shield also proves why it wasn't a great faction. Yeah, Roman Reigns still has the fucking song and Shield attire. Get the fuck out of here, man. I don't want to hear about that. It's like WWE thinks the modern era is better than any other era in wrestling. Yeah, they do. And it's very cringy. It's very, like, forced. Okay? You know, a lot of people will say, you know, the women's wrestling is the best it's ever been, and I can agree to an extent. You know, the in ring quality is superb compared to back in the days. That's true. But let's not forget the fact that the girls from yesterday, like Sable, China, Sunny, Trish, Lita, even Mickey James and Melina, they drew way more than a lot of these other females today. Let's not forget that either. Or at least females that aren't called Ronda Rousey. And even Ronda Rousey has been really a draw for the company, ratings wise and attendance wise at least. But let's be very honest about that, okay? You know, I know there's a lot of things that have aged from the Attitude Era. The Attitude Era has a lot of faults that people will ignore. I get that. But it was compared to what we get now. Compared to what we get now. Okay? This company and the wrestlers inside it can barely tell stories that will make you want to watch next week. Okay? The Attitude Era made you do that every single week. Okay? People bitch about the fact that, you know, people bitch about match quality and how, well, the Attitude Era didn't have, you know, in-ring quality like we do now. I can agree and disagree with that at the same time. But let's say, for argument's sake, that you're right? It didn't matter. A 10-minute main event on Raw back in '98 could have been about just 8 minutes of punches and kicks. We didn't give a fuck about the match quality. We cared about the story behind it and the hook for next week. You don't get that on Raw. So, you know, this roster today may have the best pure athletes in history, but in terms of character, in terms of storytelling, in terms of draw, no. So, call that for what you want. I know it's me, but I thought the Nexus would have been the best in WWE if it weren't for their SummerSlam loss. They could have. The Nexus were hot. People forget. The Nexus, when they first started out, they were hot. They were white hot. If they had just... here's the thing. You know what I would have done? I would have went a step further than Jericho and Edge, right? I would have had the Nexus defeat each and every single member of Team WWE, and Nexus do not lose a member, period. That's what I would have done at SummerSlam in 2010. When Cena defeated them, that was the beginning of the end. And even though they were still hot after that, you just knew that they were there to be Cena's, you know, punching bags. And that we all know Cena was going to prevail at the end of the day. So Nexus didn't have a chance, unfortunately. But they could have been one of the greatest if they were booked better. You said you watched UWA and when you like. Sorry, I'm just so hyped that you have. Sorry, just so hyped you have watched my league. It's fine. So, you know, Sly Cooper, Tiger in the Dark, you know, Yellow Devil, those guys. Let me see. What type of Photoshop do you use? I still use Photoshop 10, I believe. I do want to get into Adobe After Effects. I do want to get into that, though. I just got to learn how to use it, and I just got to learn how to kind of, you know, put it all together. But I would like to use it. Just got to have the money, but, you know. I don't know. Only Barrett and Gabriel had potential Nexus. Well, it doesn't, I mean, yeah, but that wasn't my point. The point was that the group itself had the potential to be great. Them individually would have been them individually after the Nexus had faded out. You know, the group itself would have been established to where it would have taken a lot of people or maybe that one individual to stop them. But with Cena defeating them so early, it just kind of ruined it. And I don't think, I mean, You can just look at it today in 2018. You know, Barrett's gone, Gabriel's gone. I mean, Daniel Bryan was a member for like a day, so I don't count him. Slater is the only one in the company at this point. Well, yeah, Slater. I mean, Otunga's now backstage. You know, Darren Young's gone, Ryback's gone. It's just, you just look at the potential they had and where they are now. It's like, what a waste of potential. What a waste of energy. But that's neither near here nor there. So, what are your thoughts on Eminem's Kamikaze album? Also, did you hear Machine Gun Kelly's response to M dissing him? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I woke up this morning and I heard and listened to MGK's diss to Eminem. Now, I'll preface it by saying that I am not an MGK fan. I think he gets to be overrated just because he has the Bad Boy label behind him. Even though that Bad Boy label hasn't been shit since '98, but neither here nor there. That said, I do support this, though. I think Eminem has been safe. I think Eminem has been somebody that has been not into his best for a couple of years. The Kamikaze album was basically a response of people saying that Revival wasn't good because it really wasn't. So this was his, response to say, no, I still got it. And Eminem, I thought, was cool in that album. He was the best he's been in a while. Still not up to par to what I would like for Eminem to be, but I thought he was good for what that album was for. MGK going after him, I like that in the sense that I like competition in hip-hop. The worst enemy of hip-hop is complacency. Always. So, I was fine with it. Who do you think would be a good tag team in CAW? Ratchet and Clank or Finn and Jake? Either or, honestly. I'm surprised people haven't really done a Finn and Jake tag team in CAW. I'm actually surprised that has not happened. I mean, I wouldn't do it because, I have ACW, but, I'm surprised no one else has done it, so. If you were to do an NXT branded show, maybe I could fill the role as commentator. Funny enough, I think I've said it before that I had a planned NXT like brand for ACW. It was going to be called ACW 1. It was going to be ACW 1, and it was going to follow. It was going to follow more the structure of FCW than NXT, quite frankly. But I just kind of. But then I guess I just kind of didn't go through with that. But that's not to say I won't do that in the near future. What is your opinion on All In? I kind of already said that earlier. I've already said it earlier, but I basically just said it was good for wrestling, good for the business, an enjoyable show, one of the better pay-per-views of the year. Cody winning the NWA title was a great moment for wrestling and himself and the Rhodes family. It was just a great show. Great show. Alright, I guess I will give you guys maybe 5 more minutes, okay? 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes for any questions, last comments, and I'm going to call it a day. This has been a weird newscast. I've never done a newscast this early. I might do that. I might do more early newscasts in the future. Maybe I might do that. Will definitely help a lot of you guys, alright? Whew! Which is better right now, the IC title or the US title? I think the IC title is being held by Seth, and the US title is being held by Nakamura. I'll go with Seth and the IC title. Why have you sent Asuka Kazama to the doghouse? It's news to me, but she's not in the doghouse, so I don't see why that would be a question. Any chance that Zuko someday will be Impulse champion? I think it's possible. And after the way Sasuke got beat down at the start of the show and how he was acting during the match. If Kankuro didn't get himself involved, Zuko could have very well walked out the Impulse champion. And Zuko is very focused on becoming Impulse champion, or basically world champion in ACW again. So, if he continues that, he will be Impulse champion soon. It's just a matter of when. Going to keep asking. You said you watch UW. I just answered that question though. I said Sly Cooper and Tiger in the Dark and who was it? Yellow Devil. Yeah, I said that already. Unless the chat's repeating questions. If Ichigo wins the Excel title on SCAW and bring it back to Excel, will Roger Smith forgive Ichigo or not? I don't know. The Excel title that Elric is holding at the moment does not exist. It's not regulated or recognized by ACW, so I don't see what that would matter so much. All that would mean would that be that Ichigo brought back the physical title that Elric paid the deposit to own. So Elric would be stupid to. Again, it just goes back to Elric's hypocrisy and short-sightedness. It goes back to Elric's hypocrisy and short-sightedness. And yes, that was a pun. Fight me, Elric. Do you see Glamour X potential in the girls of Caldom? I have not caught Caldom yet, and I might. I'll tell you this. I'll check out Caldom this week and see where it goes from there. Let's put it that way. But I have I am aware of Caldom though. I can say that I am aware of it though. Raw Women's title or SmackDown Women's title? Well, I think I'm gonna have to go with Ronda in the Raw Women's title. You know, at least Ronda as the women's champion is fresh. And at least it's not insulting my intelligence. At least it's well earned from a story kayfabe sense compared to the SmackDown Women's title. So, yeah. Would an all Glamour X brand be in the future? I don't know. I don't know if I would do that because I feel like the Glamour X division shouldn't be its own thing. It should always be integrated with the men's roster because I want to put them on equal standing, but you don't want to quote unquote force that equality. You want it to gradually and naturally be its own thing. And I think me making the Glamour X division its own brand would be me forcing that. So I don't know if I would do a brand specifically for the Glamour X division. Now a special event or maybe even a mega event for the Glamour X division, that's more plausible, I guess. But yeah. When the Fox deal goes through, will the brand split? Oh my god, it's time to go. When the Fox deal goes through, will the brand split die? I hope it does, because the brand split has been such a non sequitur. It's been such a non-factor throughout this whole thing. I know people are saying, well, more talent, get more opportunities for more massive. And it just hasn't. It's just diluted the product. It's just diluted the people's chances of following along certain superstars. That's all it's done. So I can't wait for the brand split to be done. Yeah. That's what I'll put it as. All right, I think that'll just about do it for today. So, Thank you for joining me for this newscast. If you guys want to send your questions and comments on the live chat, you can always do so. But I think that'll do it for me here today. I will have a I will have a webisode ready for you all later today. Just to make up for Impulse not being available today. Impulse will be available tomorrow, so look out for that. And we'll have other content throughout the week. We are on the road to Animania 5, so there will be a lot of content going forward as we get close to that date on Saturday, December 1st. And we are streaming it live on Twitch. We're going to be streaming Animania 5 live on Twitch. There will be a official announcement for that later in this week, so look out for that as well. But that'll do it for me here today. I will see you all tomorrow for Impulse, and I will see you in the Discord server and the Facebook group page for other things for today. So until then, this is Hakeem Johnson telling you all to stay cool. Stay cool. I will see y'all later.